Now, if this alluvial soil occurs, let's say, for example, at the mouth of a river, where one river runs into a larger body of water, such as a lake or a larger river environment, then we call those soils delta-type soils. If they are alongside of a floodplain where we have banks, the river overflows the bank or the stream overflows the bank, it deposits layers of soil and it retreats back into the normal stream bed, we don't have a specific name for this other than the fact that it is a floodplain and it is an alluvial soil. If this sedimentation effect occurs due to an inland sea or a lake sedimentation type of environment, then these soils are referred to as lacustrine, and that's spelled L-A-C-U-S-T-R-I-N-E. In the Walla Walla Valley, we have a series of soils that are lacustrine in origin. At one point in time, this area was an inland sea, and down in the Touchy, Loudoun, Gardena area of the Walla Walla Valley, we have a formation which is referred to as the Touchy beds. And there are 30-some odd layers of soil, each of them varying somewhat in thickness from an average depth of approximately 18 inches. And each of these was deposited as a result of runoff when this area was one point in time covered with an inland sea or water. And that's really the only thing that can account for those specific sedimentation layers occurring in the soil, because it creates what is called an artificial profile in the soil. We don't have the normal A, B, C type of horizons which we'd expect, but we have this series of sedimentation layers that occur. Now, the surface of that has been modified quite a bit with time as a result of cropping and cultivation and normal weathering, but once you get below that initial surface soil, then you get into these sedimentation layers. And once again, those are referred to as a lacustrine type of soil. If our transporting medium is wind transported soils are occurring all of the time, but if we look at this from a geological standpoint, we have had some significant wind transported soils occurring in the past. One of the formations that you might be familiar with is the Palouse series soils that occurs in much of eastern Washington, especially north of this. We have some here at the higher elevations in Walla Walla County, but as you get into Whitman and Spokane counties in particular, we have a significant amount of these Palouse series soils. Well, these soils are silt loam in origin, and as they are transported and settled out, they settle out in very thick layers. So a wind-transported soil is referred to as a aeolian type of material. And aeolian is spelled E-O-L-I-A-N. Now, there are two types of these wind-transported soils. The one that I described with the Palouse series, where we typically have a silt loam or a moderate textural class type of soil, is referred to as a loess soil. And loess is spelled L-O-E-S-S. Now, the tendency would be to pronounce that as loess, but the correct pronunciation is loess. And the Palouse soil series formation is an example of a loess soil. The other type that we see being transported and have a tendency to be moving quite often, even today, are the sand dune type of materials. So these obviously are much coarser, and we have a number of active sand dunes in areas within the Columbia Basin, the northern part of Walla Walla County, and then on up in through the Columbia Basin north of Pasco. If ice is the transporting agent for a type of parent material or soil, then we refer to these soils as either glacial drift or glacial till. Glacial till is as a result of this material being deposited by the direct action of the glacier itself, the movement of the glacier, whereas glacial drift is more from the outwash, typically being smaller types of fragments or material. These do also occur throughout regions within the state of Washington, as well as other areas of the Pacific Northwest. And we see in some cases large rocks or boulders being left behind as the glaciers retreated in our past geological history. Now that we've reviewed these parent materials, and keep in mind these terms and what type of parent material they're associated with,